Welcome back to another video, guys, and this is going to be another one based on the motorhome. So if you didn't watch the last video, which I literally just finished up this morning, it is a 79 Georgie boy, so Chevy front, van style, short like 21 footer, tows the trailer and the jet ski and Jenny all really well because I've put a 6-liter LS in there, small cam package, and runs on like a 4L80 trans. So as a tow vehicle, works great. Last video, this was just redid all the carpet inside, try to keep some of the noise down. But for some reason, I always seem to have problems with exhaust on this thing. First exhaust was thrown together, wasn't really, anything special. After that, I just did some basic stuff, and I've blown out like 4 mufflers. So I've always just thrown another muffler back on it. First 2 were cheap. Definitely thought these would last. I don't know what's going on, but essentially, I hope that fan noise isn't too loud because I drove it up here. So, but off of the header up here, V-band down, comes to this muffler and out this side right before the tire. This is essentially what I am still going to be doing again. However, passenger side goes down the passenger side, kicks out, and it's just over there, way farther up because there used to be a propane tank here. So this is what I've always wanted to do with this and just never had the time. It was always just, okay, that broke, throwing another muffler on in this way. Now, passenger side is going to cross over with a flex pipe in it. I'm going to say not joined to this, but I will now. Let's go to the new parts. That'll explain it better. All right. So this is what should work for, I don't want to say an exhaust kit for an LS and a 70s motorhome, but this is what I'm using. So that is out of a, 6-liter Silverado Suburban. That is a replacement muffler. So it should work fine. It shouldn't have quality issues. It is dual in, single out. The dual in is 2.5. So grab some straights, grab some of these. These aren't even J's. I don't know what to call them. 2 of those. That should give me all the bends I need. 2 flex pipes, which I never had in system before, so I don't know if that's part of why the exhaust issue. Another V-band for where passenger side connects. And then this is a 3-inch J bend because the outlet is 3-inch. So this is going to be my recipe for redoing the exhaust on this, hopefully once and for all. And I'm running out of time because Hyperfest is in a couple days, but that's why I want to do this, because I really don't feel like listening to this thing. And let's see if we can see it. So this is the current issue. I don't exactly know how it happened, but this one is now, I have a feeling this is from the motor, pulling torque. It kind of down on the right, the motor will twist, with torque. And I think it was pulling on this bracket, which is what broke this muffler. Like I said, these weren't the best mufflers, but they were definitely better than the really crappy ones I had on at first. All right, so this is a better view of what was currently under there. Like I said, super short, right off the header, out on the passenger side, because back here was a propane tank, so I didn't want to make it any farther back. That side, better. Still not super long, but honestly, that's about how long it's going to be. Essentially, I'm going to use, I don't know how much I'm going to use, but I do need to clean it up and maybe throw a little bit of paint on it to hopefully keep it. It's just aluminized. None of this is super fancy. I think I'm $250 in the material on like what's on the table. So I didn't go crazy. It's just the tow rig. Do I want to do it over? No, but I think we'll be good for this. This is the same stuff they put underneath the truck and, you know, lasts 60, 100,000 miles. So, all right, first order of business, I am going to be adding the flex pipe in this. So this is driver's side. This honestly, as it was, almost fit perfect to where I want the muffler to be. So I'm going to weld this flex pipe in, and then go back underneath, test fit, and I'm going to end up having to trim the backside here a bit. It's one of those 50-50 reusing the pipe that's here, but it's only about a year old. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit, you know, put some high temp paint on it, and hopefully keep the rust from completely eating this way. This is just supposed to be a fairly quick fix again. One of these days, maybe it won't be a complete quick fix, but we're gonna knock this out and then go back and test fit. Lost you guys there. Okay, so I wouldn't call that tacked. Maybe aggressively tacked. 2 beads on each. I don't think I'm going to have to tear this apart, but before I weld it all out, just in case, I'm going to leave it like that, but it's not going to move at all unless I cut it off. All right, so getting the old exhaust off, which, oh, that's why. It's going to be hard to show. Like, these weren't a terrible muffler. Like, it was a name brand. It was a Dynamax. I mean, not the toppest brand, but, you know. You can see, maybe. Whole thing is spinning in there. And then this one, it's like also spinning and the welds broke. Like, I can't 100% say that's, I don't want to say my fault or the motorhome's fault. Like, that was on there a year at most. So, this is like a stock replacement style muffler, and looking at these weld joints here, it's kind of just, I don't say tack welded, but spot welded a couple places around. So for my peace of mind, I'm going to come through and weld all the way around it. That way, hopefully, that doesn't happen again. Fully welded, that makes me feel a little bit better. This is the part of exhausts I absolutely hate. Trying to tack stuff underneath, because I'm usually here on the ground. It'd probably be a little easier on a lift, but I don't have that option, so here we are. Yeah. But this is, I want to say, current plan. Where am I? So, driver's side exhaust to the muffler now, and then I've got the passenger side kind of mocked up to make sure I knew where I was going and I had enough room. So now I'm going to jump over to the passenger side, starting at the header, and then try to make it back to around here, and I won't finalize it on the muffler until we get all of that in there, because there's going to be a V-band and a another flex joint for the other side. All right, doing good. Sun is starting to go down, which is concerning because, you know, I have to drive this home. But I kind of knew my time was limited. However, here is passenger side exhaust. Now, this is where it ends up at the muffler. All of this is welded back up, V-band in place, flex joint in place. I'm going to take this back underneath. I don't want to say do a last test fit, but I'm going to, get this back in, make sure this still hits the exhaust where it's supposed to, and then I can tack this and then actually just take the V-band off and take the driver's side half off while I'm doing, I still have to do the tailpipe. So, other than that, we're doing pretty good. We're not in too much trouble, but it's gonna be dark by the time I finish this. All right, so I'm laying here on the ground because I'm down to basically exhaust tip, and I can't figure out what I want to do. I wish I could ask you guys, but, you know, I'll have this done by the time anybody watches it. So I guess where my head is, you know, one is kind of very typical slash cut. And then 2 is just cut straight around. 3 is cut straight around, but a little higher. And basically my thought process here is 1 probably looks the best. 2, I don't know, it was just an option. 3, because it's cut so far up, will hopefully push exhaust gas out, like straight out, and be quieter inside, instead of having the sound come around the corner and down, bounce off the ground. You know, what's going to be quieter at cruise? That's what I don't know. And guess what? It's dark. So, as expected, it got dark. I did decide on number 3 for my tip, which can't really tell. I'll have to show you once it's back on the motorhome, probably tomorrow in the daylight. But a bad thing happened because, you know, projects that are going all right, you always have to have something go bad. So, V-band to the header, broke the bolt off. So, you got to worry about stainless and basically getting galled up. So, that was one of those where, like, I felt it as soon as I tried to take it off. And it's just a worry, especially when you're doing multiple, like, I had this thing off 8 times, 10 times today, and you just have to be careful. And it, you know, finally said this was it, galled up and broke off. And it was one of those, I felt it coming and I couldn't do anything about it. So this is one for the other V-band I just put on, but of course I have 3-inch V-bands here. I have like 2 brand new ones, a used one. I have 2 brand new 2.25, but I don't have any 2.5s. So did a quick Amazon order. Rush order should be here tomorrow in the morning. That's what it says. So I'm not done. So I'm not done for the night because, well, I got to drive this home. I can't really leave it here in the way of other people's garages. The other option would be to take Jenny home, but I think it might rain tomorrow. So basically, I need to get the motorhome all out of here and taken home. So I think, as long as I can do it, if I can get this clamp clamped enough that I can then take the vice grips to, hold on. Do one of those. If I can get it clamped enough with my hand to be able to get a vice grip on it, that's at least how I'm going to get it home without a massive exhaust leak. It'll just be a small exhaust leak. It's just going to kind of, man, it's going to suck because I wanted to hear this 100% done, hopefully quieter, but I guess I'll get a general idea. And then if you see in the background, I threw paint on everything. I just used a header paint. Try and keep some of the rust away. Like I said, I didn't go stainless or anything with this. It was all aluminized. And you got to paint where you grind away anyways, and you put your welds. So, all painted up. I'm going to wait for this to dry, jump back under there, bolt it all up, and probably see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll put a clip in of the first start to see if it is quiet or not. I hope it is. I also forgot to mention in my, V-band debacle, other things that didn't go right today. One of those, I ripped my pants. Started out as a 1-inch rip about, half an hour after I got to the garage, at noon, which is now 10 o'clock. So it's only been getting worse. I think these are done. But let's go take a look at what is hopefully going to get me home with this V-band, and if not, a bit of an exhaust leak. There we go. A, 4-inch Harbor Freight C-clamp. Let's see if that holds it together enough and doesn't vibrate off just to get home. Otherwise, everything's on. You can't see it now. We'll do an update in the morning. All right, I guess I won't deprive you guys of the first start as I pull this thing off the blocks. All I hear is an exhaust leak at that V-band, so we'll do this again tomorrow once I get that fixed. All right, well, it's the next day, and because yesterday was a tease, for me at least, because all I heard was exhaust noise when I started for you guys, but I drove it home last night, and it's definitely going to be quieter than it was. So let me set you up, and let's get this first start. So compared to what this thing sounded like before, it definitely sounded like, it had exhaust on it. It had mufflers. It had, someone put something on a truck. Now, tiniest bit of noise, but I think I can also hear a little bit of exhaust leak up here that I want to check out. But honestly, way quieter. That's going to make for long distance travels way better.